Yeah, we are live. Listen, I don't usually say this a lot. I do say this a lot, but I'm going to say it again. Special guest alert, my brother, Tayshan, man. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm all good, man. I'm all good, brother. How are you?
I'm good. Listen, it's been a long time coming, man. I've been trying to get hold of you, man. You're the busiest guy I know, doing this, that, and the other, man. So it's finally good to kind of sit down and chat to you, bro. How's things been treating you, man?
Yeah, I think it's finally good to just sit down. For me. Yeah, things have been well. I've just my mind's going at like 200 miles an hour. I've been doing loads of things, loads of positive things. But yeah, just trying to find my way really, and yeah, I'm enjoying it in the process. So yeah, everything well over here, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to hear it, man. I'm glad to hear it. Every time I try to contact you, you're doing this, that, and the other, which we'll get into. So yeah, I'm glad to hear it though. But you know what? I've been trying to use this lockdown period to kind of get to know more people in Grassroots. And yeah, like now it's your turn. Obviously, I've seen you many a time kicking ball, scoring goals, or not many scoring goals, in fact. Tell a lie, but kicking ball for sure.
That soon changed that.
Soon change, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I just wanted to kind of get to know you more as well, because obviously, you know, I've known you for quite a bit now as well, and even aside from football as well, getting to know you, what you're doing off the field. So yeah, man, just wanted to get to know you, bro. So yeah, take me back now. For a young baller, talk to me when you first got into football and that.
I think when I first started playing football, it was more because my mum couldn't handle my how active I was. I was just a very energetic child.
I can see that. I can see that. Yeah.
Like at the age of 3, I think my mum just put me into Westway because I think they were doing some groups for toddlers or something. And yeah, apparently it was just something that just felt very natural to me, having a ball at my feet. Young age, I think the coaches that I had at the Westway had a massive influence on the way that I played, because we used to do things that were quite abnormal to the typical kind of grassroots coaching setup, in UK or in London or whatever it is. Our coaches always kind of promoted us to play, with as many touches as possible.
Yeah.
We played tiki taka, it was nice, man. And then so I kind of grew up playing at the Westway. I still live across the road to the Westway. Westway was my mum would always say I spent more time at the Westway than I do at home. So
it's the good old Westway, man. Yeah.
So grown and people don't know that the Westway, the big pitch, used to be a sand pitch. You know them horrible sand pitches.
Oh, yeah, legs used to get cut up and everything.
Yeah.
I hate them ones.
Bro, first couple of years at the Westway, I'd come home with barely any skin on my legs, on my elbows. That's what it was. That's what the Westway was then. And 5-side pitches were not like how they were now. There was the concrete pitch that is so famous now because of, I think it was in Fever Street, and it was in that Jogamita advert with Thierry Henry, Eric Cantona, and that.
Yeah.
People there used to just anywhere, anyhow. I'd just be playing ball. I'd finish school. I'd go straight to the Westway up until 10 o'clock until it closes. Come home, try and do my homework, have some food, and then go to bed. And the same every day. Same. And then I think even before schools, I used to drag my brother. Bless him, man. But I used to drag him to some pitch. We used to wake up at 7 and go play goal to goal on this little concrete pitch just down the road. So it was just all about ball for me, man, and just playing whenever I could. It was my release. Even though I didn't realize that at that age, for me it was just you just saw me smiling every time I was on the pitch, as you do now. So I think that's how it kind of started, and then I joined Ballers as well. So I played with Westway and another team called Ballers at Ravenscourt Park. And big up Ballers, because Ballers used to the way that they ran things was mad. Yeah, we went I think a couple seasons unbeaten, won every cup, and yeah, it was nice to have those kind of two spaces that I was kicking ball in. I think Westway I was playing Monday and Friday, and it was at Market Road. We used to be in the Market Road League. Ballers was on the Sunday, I think it was, or was a Saturday, I can't remember. But with different leagues, so every day was just a ball day for me.
So you was a baller from early then, is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You know what though? I was saying to myself, I'm sure I've come across you before. And lo and behold, when I was doing my research and going through it, I come across this. And this is pre-Tayshan days now. Obviously, man's got the locks and all the rest of it now. But I'm seeing my man. Look at him. Look how fresh he look, man.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah. So at the time, I think I just signed for Brentford. To see me showing off my Brentford gear with my initials on it, I think I was very proud of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, just signed for Brentford. And like, yeah, it was a very proud moment for me and my mum and my family. And it was the first time I've been picked up by a club properly. And it was like a project. So I think Brentford had a few coaches come from Arsenal, Tottenham, like the bigger clubs, and there was a big project going on at Arsenal, at Brentford, where I think they were trying to. I think at the time we were League One, and they were trying to turn this League One team into this really amazing like feeder club, or where we had amazing youth team. And I didn't go to the Milk Cup that year, but the team I was signed. I think I was just outside the age gap, like I was a bit too old to go, but that was the team. I was part of the team, or in that team that won the Milk Cup. So I didn't go, but that was the age group that I was in. And I think they went out there, they beat Liverpool, they beat Man U, and made a big statement. So it was nice to be part of that. And with like obviously coaches like Danny Buck, Hayes, other coaches, Ozzy, that was a very, very, amazing place for me to learn some more of my trade. I always say like me checking my shoulders and being more aware, and that kind of side of the game that side of the game. But I definitely picked up a lot more, and kind of being on the half turn and being a bit more kind of savvy on the pitch. That's something that I learned at Brentford very quickly. So, but yeah, that was my journey there. And then I think FFD kind of saw me doing a few bits and bobs, and I think when they launched that channel, I was one of the first people that they spoke to, one of the first people, but I can't remember. But yeah, from right at the beginning.
Yeah, because they got onto people from early. Like I remember seeing like Rolando Aaron's on there. Obviously, before you signed Newcastle, who else was on there? Did they have like Sancho and Hudson-Odoi on there? Yeah.
Quite a few players there. So we do like ball sessions, I think, where quite a few players turned up, and yeah, everyone was a baller. Now you can see where everyone ended up.
Crazy.
Yeah, man, it's wicked.
And again, it used to be shot mainly at Westway as well.
Yeah, so Westway, yeah. So there's
Westway is like the hub, bro. Like
that's it, man. It is a hub. It is a hub. Like it's very much like been the home of football in West London for me, anyway.
No, I say that to a lot of people, man. Like other parts of London have their sides. You've got Clapham Common, you've got Hackney Marshes as well. But over this side of the water, definitely Westway has to be up there. The amount of ballers that it's seen, the amount of high-profile teams and games that they've had, like Westway has to be up there in terms of West London football as a whole.
And I think there is a difference between West and like other places in London. Like, admittedly, you have to say that like the football community in West London isn't the strongest. Like, I mean, there's a lot of football teams, a lot of things go on, but even in non-league, there's only a few West London football teams. Like, yeah. So, but and I think going to Westway now, you're seeing how commercial it's become. You see, it's like more about who can afford the pitches rather than people that live in the community. So I think, yeah, that's something that I'm really passionate about. Kind of, what's the word?
You think it's gone down that way a lot? Like, it's the community that's around it, they can't afford to actually use it.
Definitely, and I think like when Grenfell happened, it was a big eye opener because I certainly became more socially aware and more aware of the things that have been changing in my area. I think more than anywhere, like West London or Ladbroke Grove, my area is definitely changing in a certain way that is kind of trying to exclude people like myself. And so when you look at Westway, a place where I grew up on, and I used to pay, well, I never used to really pay, but when my mum was paying £1 for me to get in, that makes it so accessible for people kind of in low income households. But now it's like, so different. If you want to rent a pitch, it's a couple hundred, and it's like, it's mad.
Yeah, but let's if we get to pitches, boy, I think we'll be here all night, man. Pitch prices right now is crazy. But yeah, look, let's go on from there. So Brentford, FFD, what comes after that then, bro?
So I think I had I had a trial at Wimbledon, which I was successful in. I signed at Wimbledon, and I think then went on trial to Newcastle, where I did very well.
I'm gonna park you there. When I see you in the Newcastle shot, I was like, what? When did this happen? You know, I'm a Newcastle fan, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, where did this happen? Where did I miss an opportunity to meet you and
Nah,
a Newcastle player? Or what?
seems like I missed the opportunity, man, because I went up there. I did my thing. I felt like I was one of the best players there, and I think I bossed the 18s, and I think at the time I just turned 17. Scored 2 goals on my first game there on trial.
Man,
They asked me to come train with the first team with when Alan Pardew was there, and he called me. What did he call me?
no.
In it, but
What did you call you, sorry?
I can't remember. He had like because I had like this big afro hair. I can't remember exactly what he called me, but yeah, it was. Um, I was due to come back up, and I'd made a noise, and they were really interested in me. And then stupidly, I went on trial to another club. I went on trial to Crystal Palace for a week, whilst I was meant to be just chilling and resting. I
You know,
did my
we just bopped them, you know? We just bopped them literally yesterday. Come on. Sorry, Palace fans, anyone listen, but it is what it is.
I went Palace for a week, and then the week after, Fulham had said that they were interested, so I went to Fulham, and on the first day of Fulham, I broke my arm, and
Oh.
that kind of made Newcastle aware of what's been going on. I think clubs talk between each other, and it was never meant to happen, but yeah, it kind of scuppered things slightly. But I always say, if a club really wants to sign you, they will sign you. Like no matter what. I've seen like crazier stories where a player ends up getting signed. So I think what's meant to be is, it was a good experience. But I feel like that glimpse, that phase that I was there, where everything was just going right, it kind of just showed that everyone is human, and I felt like I was in and amongst them. I felt like I was worthy of signing that pro there, and it kind of gave me the confidence. You know what? I'm actually, I need to have more confidence in myself and believe in myself. So yeah, that's what that experience kind of.
Just remind me, just a bit of nostalgia. Who was there at the time? I know you said Pardew, but what players-wise would have been there at Newcastle?
Players.
Like you would have been around, playing around as well.
Papi Cisse, there was Ben Arthur who dropped into the 23s, and I was playing 23.
No.
Yeah. I was there when he scored. I think we played against Norwich. Was it Norwich? No, Reading. And I think he scored 3 or 4 goals. And yeah, he's just ridiculous, man. I don't think people put enough respect on his name because
Oh,
he's.
trust me, I do. He's one of my. Listen, I still think he should be here now. Like Ben Arthur. At the time, I think we had Tiote Kabai, Ben Arthur, Demba Ba, Papi Cisse. Trust me, I know this team, bro. Colaccini. I could go on for days, but
Picture of me and Colaccini actually, because I used to have the same hair as him basically.
yeah.
And he was calling me his son or something, and it was the job him in it. But yeah, man, it was a good experience. Like, as I said, like I felt like kind of I was on the right tracks, but I just made a silly mistake and listened to a few people I shouldn't have listened to, and yeah, that's how it went. But yeah.
These things happen, man. I just got to do a quick shout out to Cam's Baller. Said, man, like Taysh. So shout out to you, man, for listening in as well. Oh man, Newcastle, bro. So again, you broke your arm at Fulham, unfortunately. So what happened from there then?
I think what happened after that. I didn't actually ended up going to Newcastle. I just know they weren't happy with me. And went up there for a week or two, trained with the 23s. Did I play in the game? I think I played in the game for the 18s. And they just gave me a really glowing review, but said, "Look, no pro." And I was like, like what can you say? I think I stayed in contact with Nixon for a while, and he was trying to help me. I think he was the chief scout of some. I can't remember his exact role, but he was kind of giving me a bit of advice in the months after. Well, not being signed for Newcastle. So yeah, it was just more of an experience that I learned from more than anything else. And it kind of like what could have been, but yeah, no regrets, man. It all happens for a reason. So.
Damn, man, I could have had posters of you on my wall, like.
Well, you can still have a poster of me on your wall, man.
I mean, yeah, potentially, yeah, but man, okay. I mean, yeah, look, didn't happen, wasn't meant to be. Moving on. Talk to me. What happened from there? Like, what was the ongoing journey from there?
I think that was like one of the most, in the football game for me, it was one of the most mentally hard, one of the hardest things mentally I had to kind of take on because I was so close to being, pro at a Prem club, and then all of a sudden, there was kind of just nothing after that. And that's when I think, like, I took a few months off of football. My son was, I think my son had just been born, and there was a lot of kind of, for me, I think I was just turned 18, and I was quite stressed. That has its own complications, and I think I should months out of football and kind of reflect on things football based and non-football based. And I think I ended up, because I used to pick up my son from Enfield, I ended up just kind of asking the local team. I didn't really understand about non-league football, didn't really understand how it worked, but I joined Enfield under 18s. I can't remember what year, but yeah, it was when I was about 18, and it was towards the back end of the season. I went to Enfield under 18s, trained in a session, just did my thing, and I ripped it up. And bear in mind, like, I'm short now, like, bro, a few years ago, I was basically like very, very, very short.
Nah, you got a leap on you. I'll give you that. You got a leap on you. Trust me. When I seen you, we'll get onto that game later. But when I seen you at a certain game, you was like,
yeah, man,
towering over people, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. We'll speak about that later, innit?
Yeah.
But I think under 18s at Enfield, and then they said come back next season, we'll put you in the 23s or the reserves, I think it was at the time. So exactly that. And the only reason I was doing that is because, like, I missed football, and, like, I was picking up my son from Enfield, and it just worked in that way. And then I started off at the 23s with, I think, Grenfell was the coach there, the manager, and he essentially, I mean, I think he was bugging Bradley Quinton was the gaffer at the time at Enfield. And again, I didn't really understand how non-league football worked. I just thought, like I'm just like another Sunday League player. Like, not that Sunday League is not that I'm putting Sunday League, down, but I'm just saying, like, in my mind as a 18-year-old, you're not really thinking about non-league and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't on my mind anyways. And yeah, I think there was like a friendly game in pre-season that the first team had, and it was like to celebrate an opening of a stadium, so there wasn't really much at stake. And I got put on for the last 15. I think I must have dribbled past about 5 or 6 players and slid someone in, and they scored. And the gaffer was like, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love a bit of him. Yeah, he'll do for me.
Yeah.
Was he watching Ben Arthur's videos? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I was watching it in real life, bro. And then from then, Brad just took me under his wing and was like, yeah, like, and he was just showing me the ropes, really, and brought me into the first team environment. And then I think I came on as a sub for my first game against Tonbridge Angels. Actually, it's quite funny how it all happened, because he decided to give me my first start against Billericay Town, who were in the same league as us at the time. And, like, I don't know, like, prior to the game, he got me so, like, psyched up, so buzzed, like, because we were rivals. Enfield and Billericay are rivals, and he got me psyched up, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Like, he's like, make sure every challenge is hard, make sure what. And anyways, 30 minutes into the game, I lifted, Joe Elo, centre back. He's now at Maidstone, but yeah, I lifted him, like, I went straight through his shin, and he went flying in the air. Got red card first start at Enfield, which
red cards.
Yeah.
See, this is what happens when you get them too amped. You're like, go on, boom. Okay.
That's that's what it was. Like, it got in my head, like you gotta just go hard every tackle, which I was doing. But yeah, that one was a bit mad. That was a bit. Really? And then I think I came. Yeah, so I got suspended for 3 games, which wasn't a good start. I thought, what have I done? Like, this is not a good start. But anyways, he showed his faith, and after that suspension, I earned my space back in the team, and I think I then got the record at Enfield, or I think equaled the record of the consecutive amount of man of the matches. So I think I got 3 or 4 in a row. And then from there was a few other clubs interested. I think there was Middlesbrough, and there was a few. I think Charlton were asking about me, and there was a few clubs interested anyway. And I think I had a really good time at Enfield. Proved myself as a footballer, and kind of worked really well. I had Billy Crook just behind me. I had Corey Whiteley, and I had Harry Ottaway up front. Just secure the ball, pop it, and we played really nice style of football, which I enjoyed. But yeah, Enfield, I enjoyed my time there, man. It was good. Yeah.
Enfield, bloody hell. So from that mad start of getting sent off in the first game to like 4 consecutive man of the matches, that is just like one side to the other, literally.
And I got the maddest story about because I just left. So for whatever reason, I left Enfield after I think 1.5 or 2 seasons. And then I ended up at Canvey Island. I think I went to Grays and then Canvey Island.
You don't mind going about, no?
Well, it was a training. Training was like an away game for me, man. It was mad.
Hey, Canvey Island.
Yeah, it was mad. I don't know what I was doing when I think back to it. I was like, yeah, that 2-hour journey wasn't a nice one. But
that's not on the oyster. You can't get an oyster card with that, can you?
Yeah, that was petrol still. That was. But yeah, I did. And then I think we played against Enfield in one of our first games. Obviously playing against my old club, and Brad started. He was playing right back. And anyways, I think I went into a challenge, like no malice. Like I didn't intend for anything like bad to happen. Went in sliding and I caught him late and ended up getting a red card against against my old gaffer. And I was like, yeah.
Twice. It happened
twice.
Oh my gosh! I didn't know he was that much of a dirty player, you know.
It's just the passion, bro. It's the passion, and that's how I play football. I think, you know, like I've been told all my life I'm too small, I'm too, weak, I'm not big enough. You know, all of these things here, and obviously it got to me, man. It got to me, and I feel like I have to work twice as hard to prove that actually, like, it's not anything to do with my size. I can hold my own. Like, you're not that. It's rare that I'm shifted off the ball. It's very rare, and I think like people need to realize it's not about like the strength necessarily the strength that you have. It's how you use your strength and it's how you use your body and your awareness. Like you can be steps ahead of someone who's 5 times as stronger than you, but because you're a couple steps ahead of them in your mind, you're already thinking, oh, if you're gonna barge me, you're gonna barge into my back, and you know it's a foul, or I'm just gonna skip you. And that's why someone like Bergkamp, you never see him have them kind of scraps, or obviously if man come up to shoulder to shoulder with him, he'd probably go flying. But when have you ever seen that? Like, so I'd like to think that I've had to kind of adapt my game and try to work twice as hard. So when it does come to those situations, I know what I'm doing. Or like you said, like I've got a bit of a spring on me, or like I've worked hard on that. And so yeah, that's kind of my angle on things. So yeah, that's where I was at.
2 red cards consecutive for 2 new clubs. Come on, bro.
Yeah, man. No, but it wasn't too like in a row, but it was just like, you know, I think I was just passionate at the time, and mistimed a few challenges. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, let's put it that way. Okay, so obviously you're doing them 2-hour treks as well. You've done your red cards as well. Like, what? How did it end there? Like, what happened from there?
At Canvey, I think like that was the reason why. Like, it was just too far, too long.
Yeah.
And then I think at the time Southend were quite interested in having a look at me. So I was on trial at Southend at the same time as training for Canvey Island, which worked out perfectly. Southend just down the road to Canvey Island.
Yeah.
And then at the time, Canvey Island was they partnered up with an Austrian team called Kitsport, Kitsport. And there was a little project going on there. There was this coach out there that had links to Southend somehow, and they were really interested in taking me out there, see how I do in the. So I went out to Austria, and where did I go? I went for half the season. Second half of the season, I went to Austria, and I did my thing. It was very different to what anything I'd done before. Tactically, they're just so far the game compared to here. Like, we'd have about 3 or 4 different formations that we just chop and change within the game. We'd have 4 number 10s playing at the same time, where you just rotate. You know what you're doing. It was a very good experience. And we ended up winning the league out there and coming second in the cup. So yeah, like that was a really good experience. Like, so I could, like at a young age, I could say that I won a league, and I could say that I got a winner's medal. And that was big for me because I feel that that definitely transformed me into a kind of a more of a mature player because I knew what was on the line, I knew what was at stake. Obviously, we performed to win that league. There was a a lot of pressure on us from the kind of the board and the management to make that happen. And so yeah, it was a good experience.
Tay, I found that interesting that you said that they're steps ahead of us in terms of their coaching and all the rest of it. Because when I hear people have gone to other countries and they pretty much say the same thing, whether it be Austria or Germany or Holland or whatever, what's stopping us from doing these sort of things? Why are we so fixed in, like, you have one formation and that's it, it's stuck for 90 minutes? Why are we so stuck in our ways? Why are we getting left behind? Because we invented football.
Bro, it's from the top down, man. It's from, the people who hold the resources and hold the decision-making power. They have a narrative that they want to try and, impose on the football that we play. They're simply just not. I think it's stubbornness. Like they're thinking that their way is right, and then slowly you're seeing things change, but you're seeing it change 10 years, after.
We're too late. It's too late.
Yeah,
we're missing out on key generations. People keep saying about Beckham's era was the golden generation. I think now's a golden generation. When you're seeing the likes of Sterling is coming into his prime, you've got Sancho and all these other guys, Greenwood. Are we going to miss out another generation of talent? This is just England. I'm talking England team, but again, obviously, it filters down as well. Like, are we going to miss out on another generation just due to not educating ourselves and not looking elsewhere?
Like, bro, when you see England's football team, yeah, you like when you kind of what is their identity? Like, can you pin down something? Say this is England and this is their way of playing football. You can't really, can you? I mean, if you talk about Spain, Argentina, Brazil, Germany, you can literally say that's how they play. That's their system, and perfected it. And you can say that about
really, because all of them they mentioned have won stuff, whereas we keep harping back to '66. You know what I'm saying? So,
England, like national football team, it still feels like a big experiment. Like it still feels like, since for however long, obviously, I can't go that far back but like, I mean, like for as long as I've been alive, it feels like the England's national football team has just been a big experiment in ways. And it looks like they're finally getting some things right. It does look that way, and it looks like the talent's there, but you can't say it's like Brazil, or you can't say it's like Germany or Italy, or it's different. And I think that stems from the top. And like, when I say the top, like that involves grassroots football, that involves professional academy football, development squads, all of that stuff, man. There's a certain project or certain way of playing that is then implemented on clubs and kind of nationwide. And I feel like we're slightly slightly behind other nations.
Nah, for real, man. Wait, tell me when this came into play. Where is this from? What era? Is this? Have we skipped past it? Because I know I'm probably jumping ahead. Hopefully, I'm not too far. But when's that come into play?
I think that was summer 2018, and I got a little call up from Cascadia because I got American family, because my Jamaican family in America, and they were interested in bringing me in to play for what is the Cascadia national team, and we played in the what's the World Cup called? I forgot what it's called. That's bad of me, but Kanifa World. It was the Kanifa World Cup.
Okay.
And it's basically nations that are seeking independence, and it's about bringing those nations into one World Cup, playing against each other. So I think there was another team called Barawa, which I think they were Somalian, a nation that's near Somalia. There was the Tibetan national team. So there was a few national teams that we played against, and for me that was just a fun summer tournament, man. Yeah, it was wicked. We didn't have any.
You play international football? Is that what you're trying to say to me? Yeah.
I'm not claiming that, man. I'm not because let's be honest, it was more of a how do you put it? It was a summer tournament. I wouldn't say it like it's an international football. It is, but it's not like your World Cups. It's not like your Euros.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong. It was quite a big deal. It was a decent experience. And I had fun playing in it. So met a few people that I now I'm still in contact with, which is wicked. So and actually I'm potentially still in the Cascadia team. So you never know what might pop up in the future.
There we go. There we go. Okay, tell me about this one as well. This picture here.
Yeah, so that was when I was at Grays. That's against Worthing. So after Enfield, I bounced through Grays and Canvey. I mentioned it before, but yeah, I was at Grays for a short stint. And I enjoyed my time there, but had my differences with the gaffer there. But yeah, that it was what it was. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll leave that one there.
Yeah,
All right. So where were we? Sorry, I've just jumped all over the shop there. We was
Cascadia.
Cascadia. Yeah, before that. How do we come back to England? Because you did a stint in Austria. That was in Austria.
Yeah, so when I was in Austria,
Yeah.
that was 2017,
Yeah.
and I remember on the same day of winning the league, I remember I went back, like obviously buzzing, was on a high. I was at my yard in Austria, and I remember getting a call a message from my missus and a message from my brother, I think, or my sister, and it was a picture of Grenfell Tower, but it was a small, one flat fire, like you could see fire coming out of one of the flats, and I was like, it wasn't like it wasn't abnormal to see, because you see, like, at the time that I first saw it, it wasn't anything to panic about. It wasn't like, oh, that, you didn't really see it coming, because you think, oh, it's going to be contained. Fires happen all the time in blocks or in houses, and just think, oh, it'll be sorted. But slowly, obviously when I say slowly, it wasn't actually that slow. Things progressed like crazily. The fire just spread around the building, and I kind of watched it happen, unfold, from Austria, and obviously I had a lot of friends in there, a lot of people that I'd known, and so I was manically going on Twitter, manically on my WhatsApp, like messaging all the people I knew in there, like, are you okay? Safe, get out of there, because I can see what's going on from the outside. And I think I was like liaising with the fire off, the fire people, trying to get my friends out of the building, and obviously some people, were lost in Grenfell Tower. Well, a lot of people were lost in Grenfell Tower. 72 people lost their lives at Grenfell Tower, and I booked flights for the next day. Came home on the morning. What I came back was just chaos. You just don't have words to describe, kind of, this black charcoal building that once was like, vibrant with life, and it was a pivotal place in my life, because I used to go to Westway, and there used to be a pitch called Green Pitch just below Grenfell, and so just as much time as I spent at Westway, I was at Green Pitch, and Green Pitch were the three pitches, or was it four? I think it was 4 pitches. They were kind of like cages, and a lot of people on the block would come down to Green Pitch to kick ball. So, like, there was a very big, heavy connection to Grenfell Tower. And it was very pivotal in my community anyway, because that block kind of overlooked on my yard. And I just remember coming back and just bursting out into tears, man, when it was difficult to face. And that's what kind of brought me back to London, because the Austrian team offered me an extension. I said, you know what, I can't just ignore what's going on at home. I have to, and you don't think about the kind of the way that the traumas impact you and like the young people in this area. Like, it's still, impacting people. Like my son's first word was fire, helicopter. Like, this was the age he was in it, and he was, one of his first words was fire, helicopter, because we was in a community where it was all we spoke about. It was all that, at that age he was just absorbing all that information, kind of seeing everything around, and you can't really avoid. And I think, yeah, it's just, it's such a tragedy, man. Like, honestly, and it really did wake me up to a lot of a lot of things going on in my community, but not just my community, but in London in general. And that's kind of what started, gave me I don't know, when just after I came back, a lot of people used art, so there was a space where the community kind of gathered, and a lot of people used art, and they were painting on walls, and they were graffitiing on walls, and they were using art as expressing themselves. And for some reason, man, I just turned to gardening. I just turned to this green space, started just cleaning it up, tidying it up, and turning it into this really beautiful space that people could reflect in, have a relationship with, that hopefully brought them some sort of peace. So that's kind of like that's where I started the gardening projects really, and that stuff that I'm doing there. But I think, you know, mentally it definitely did change the way that I perceived things. I feel like I was very passive before. When I say passive, I wasn't really engaged in like cultural history of my area. I wasn't really engaged in, you know, what was before me. Why is this like that? Why is that shop there? You know, why are these people living here and why are those people living here? And it definitely woke me up, and I feel like, you know, it's a conversation that needs to be normalized. You know, yeah, because, you know, this where I live is like the cultural capital of the world, I'd say, because, you know, Labatt Grove, for me anyways, such a diverse community. One of my neighbors is Polish, one of my neighbors is Somalian, one of my neighbors is Moroccan, one of my neighbors is English, and it's like, where else in the world can you find a place like that? And I think it's such a beautiful thing that we should celebrate. And like, especially as someone who's from a kind of Caribbean heritage, this is where, you know, obviously Notting Hill Carnival takes place, which is a celebration of Caribbean culture.
Love
And
that.
I feel like, you know, a lot of young people have kind of lost their way and lost the message behind these things. Only the other day did I realize that the mangrove was just down the road to me, like, and my grandparents used to go there. But, you know, these are the stories and these that I feel like as young people we need to really carry, and that legacy. And at least if it's gonna be, you know, change, then we need to know at least, you know, what's gone on, and kind of, you know, continue that legacy and carry those values forward.
No, I hear that fully, man. I mean, look, you touched upon it earlier as well, talking to me about the gardening side of things, man. Getting in touch with this side of things. Like, before getting to know you as a man, like, I didn't know this side of you, man. So again, talk to me about it. You found it through what was going on during the situation of Grenfell. Like, where's it got to now?
Yeah, so I think when I first started gardening in the community, I kind of felt a bit embarrassed, a little bit ashamed, like, you know, like, what's Tayshan doing in the garden? Like, we used to on the grass of a pitch, not in the grass of a garden. And it's like I kind of, yeah, I was quite unapologetic about it and quite fearless. But I just was like, you know what, no matter what, I'm just gonna do my thing because it's helping me and it's, you know, it's therapy to me. And I think, yeah, I just continued doing it, and I did like quite a few community garden projects where, you know, people were calling me guerrilla gardeners, but at the time I didn't really know what guerrilla gardener was, and I thought they were like calling me a gorilla, like an
Yeah,
animal.
I feel like they're trying to be racist or what? Gorilla.
I was like, what do you mean, man? I was, yeah, calling me the Grenfell Guerrilla Gardener. I was like, yeah, I was slightly taking offense to it, but then I realized guerrilla gardening is kind of like, it's like a style of gardening where you kind of you just do it. Like, you don't really have permission, you don't really have the resources. You might do, but you just go, you find a space of land that's derelict that no one's really claiming and it's a bit unloved, and you just give it a bit of love through plants, and you look after it a bit of, you know, a bit of color, a bit of interest. And so that's kind of what we were doing in the community, creating spaces that we could be proud of, and, you know, where some of the spaces I'll be taking knives and needles out of, and clearing it out, but then we'd bring, you know, flowers and amazing plants into it to bring it to life, and it's a space that, you know, you can walk past and smile at, or walk past and kind of engage with in some way, and I think it's something that's definitely really important to me, and so off the back of that, and I think my awareness, I had, to be fair, I had a really good friend in someone who was in the community, kind of pushing me and telling me, you need to start this project that, you know, you need to set up as a constituted thing. You need to actually have a structure, a framework. I was just, you know, I was just in a space where I just needed to kind of, yeah, it was the right time, right place. And after 2.5 years of kind of, doing like gardening projects voluntarily, you know, like, bro, like, there was no resources there. There was nothing that I was literally driving around to garden centers saying, look, we're doing this project. Have you got a few plants for us? And that's how it kind of run. That's how we did it. And yeah, I think, yeah, that's how it kind of, started. And then I wanted to kind of create a legacy based on that, this year. So earlier this year, I launched Grow to Know, which is, about inspiring and educating young people through horticulture, creating a more, you know, diverse, inclusive horticultural scene. So, you know, the perceptions of who a gardener is and who a gardener can be I experienced firsthand. When I stepped into that garden, I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like, like I live in Kensington and Chelsea, the royal borough of Kensington and Chelsea.
Because you're used to seeing those like old, no disrespect, but those older white guys, retired, just doing like the garden and stuff like that. And here's my man coming along with dreads and all the rest of it now, half their age and all the rest of it. Do you know what I'm saying? So they're probably thinking the same thing you're thinking, like, is he meant to be there? And you're probably thinking, am I meant to be here? Like, it's weird.
That was the thought, like, every day. And I think, I live in a borough where the Chelsea Flower Show garden, the Chelsea Flower Show happens. And when you look at the Chelsea Flower Show, like, it's so far away from anything that I kind of align with, that it's got nothing to do with me. Why would I ever go there? Why would I ever engage? But it's the biggest gardening event in the world. And it's like, actually, like, it's not done by accident that I feel uncomfortable in this garden. It's not done, it's not done coincidentally that other people like me aren't doing gardening. I'm like, actually, like, I want to make gardening sexy, I want to make it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to make it to a different audience. It don't need to be, obviously there's a relationship with the land that a lot of black people have, that, if you go back 100, 200 years, our relationship with the land was through slavery. It wasn't, it wasn't going to trim a hedge and make your garden look pristine. It was very different. So, like, you have to look at it like that, and you have to look kind of like at the history and why things are the way that they are today. And if you want to change those perceptions, then you've got to create new things, and you've got to create new avenues. And I think that's what we're trying to do, bro, to know. So yeah, man, watch out for the projects that we're doing, because, like, bro, I'm excited. I'm excited. We're actually doing a Chelsea Flower Show garden next year, which is But when you see the idea and the concepts, it's mad. It's nothing like ever been done there before. So yeah, I'm mad excited about that.
Listen, ask Sean if you can get him involved in the video somehow. You know what I'm saying? Just in the next Rising Ballers video, like, man of the match gets, like, I don't know, a pot of greenery or something like that.
like a tomato plant or something.
Yeah. Instead of a bottle of champagne, you get a tomato plant. That's it, bro. But yeah, look, let's get back to the football now. So, I saw again, obviously off the back of FFD, I saw you pop up again, and on this. So,
yeah. I don't know what I was doing in my hair there, bro. I was trying.
Listen, it would have been, bro.
But
talk to me about the Copper-90 documentary. Is that before? Yeah. It's part of with Rising Boys, because Rising Boys got commissioned. Yeah.
So it was RB's project that they then took to Copper-90, who then commissioned it, and I think that was a very reflective experience, because I had to kind of look at my life and look back, and like we're doing today. But I'd never done it before. I'd never gone like that was my journey. And we kind of spoke about that, and it was all about my life and how I got to where I am now. And I think one thing that I'm definitely is a fighter. Like, no way anyone's telling me no, and I'm not. There's no giving up. That's one thing about me. There's no giving up, and I've had so many knockbacks. With from Grenfell to losing my mum this year. I always feel like there's a hurdle in some way, in some shape or form, but it's like it's all a learning process for me, and that's how I see it. It's either a lesson or a blessing. You either see it, like, you either embrace it and it's something that's amazing that happened, or it's a lesson that you learn that you then take on through life with you. And I think that's the way I perceive things. But that project, it was a really cool one. It was a really cool one. I've never had a camera in my face like that before, so it was interesting. It was interesting.
Right, before we get into Rising Ballers, I've got to show you this clip. So let's run this.
Toe pokes it to Zayd, to Tayshan. Oh, what a tackle. And what a tackle that is as well. Oh my God. That's 4-3-3. Tackle that is as well. Oh my God.
I can't lie. I didn't get a glimpse of it. I didn't know what happened. Nothing.
It's you doing your round the world between two different men, just sending them all hot dogs and
that one.
That one. But Rising Baller stories. So again, talk to me about that. How do we get to Rising Ballers, bro?
So I think at the time what was I doing? I was kind of just floating around, playing non-league football. what age was I at the time? I must have been 19, turning 20 or something like that. And he wanted to a football club. So it was Alf at the time, Keys, and it was obviously Jamie, and Jamie, Ennie, and Brendan who were there. And I kind of didn't really understand it. I thought they were agents to start off with. I thought, like some next agents are shouting me, because Jamie shouted me. I still have him in my phone saved as Jamie Pollitt, agent, because I thought way back then I thought he was an agent trying to get me a move or something.
Yeah.
But then when speaking to Alf at the time, he then explained to me how they want to start a football club, and I was like, yeah, like I'm all in, like, I'm ready to go. And I think I was who did we first? We first played Beatties. I think that was the game that kind of where we broke onto the scene. I think it was Beatties. Yeah, it was. Yeah, and that well, I think we beat them. We beat Beatties, and that was kind of where it started. But yeah, I as soon as they asked me to play for RB, the concept, the idea behind it, and that's why I call it RB family, because I've been there from the beginning and I've seen it evolve into what it is now, and it's something that I'm really passionate about and I've grown to really love. So yeah, man, it's amazing. It's amazing seeing other youngsters come through, do their thing, and you get to see it in person. You get to see them,
Yeah.
And with me, I'm very observant. So like the little things that other people might not pick up in games, when I'm playing with them, I'm realizing, they're on a different wavelength. I'm seeing the movement that they're doing, or the check of the shoulders, and they see something that other people don't see, and I'm like, yeah, this one he's off in a, and I think for me it's like, it's really special to witness that. Obviously, I'd love to be on the other side of the fence and be the one going, to your pro club, but I'm happy to be here. So yeah, it's all good, man.
I was gonna say you're one of the older rising ballers that's been there now, and you're not even old. The things you've seen, Illyman, Go, Darius, Melvin, Tim, like all of these guys, man. You know what I'm saying?
They need to call me the risen baller, man, because man's bright. Not possible, bro.
or OG baller, you know what I'm saying? OG baller, there you go. But yeah, man. So you've been there since pretty much the start. Beatties was the first game. I think I must have clocked on the second time you played Beatties. Or how many times you played Beatties? Maybe 2 or 3 times, maybe.
I think it was 2.
2. So it must be the second time I came to, when it was at.
I think so. Yeah. Or we played Hidden Talent as well, which had a few. What was it? We played Hidden Talent, Beatties. I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, my memory's just. I can't remember how many times we played Beatties. I just remember the first game.
Yeah.
Because obviously it was our first game, and yeah.
I came to the one that was in the school, over in West. I can't remember. Is it near Holston sort of area that way? I think that one. That's the one I came to. But since then, like
yeah.
Oh,
You're right.
Yeah. Remember now?
Yeah.
But
because a couple men played for one team and then played for another team. I think a few weeks later, I can't remember, but yeah, it was confusing to me. But yeah,
but since then I've come to quite a few games. Obviously got to know you and the lads and stuff like that. But you play some big games, and I suppose none gets bigger than the one against SC Don. So let's check out a couple clip from this.
Love it. Don't get You starting trouble, bro?
No, I didn't start trouble, man. No. Come on, you got to protect the youngsters, man. I'm a senior player in the team.
You are indeed.
If I'm seeing a couple man getting like unfairly lifted and elbowed and kneed in the face, man, like, come on, what you give, you have to take. Yeah. So I just had to show him. I play against man like that all the time, non-league. So just gotta,
First half, putting in a shift.
That's it, man.
Second half, he came on, missed the experience.
That's it, bro.
Led the line.
Like for me, it's like if they wanna battle like that, we can bring it too as well. Yeah. So for me, like that's normal. Like I don't know, you gotta have a bit about you, innit? So yeah, it was a good battle. Like all respect to them, they're a decent team, but I think we've definitely stamped our foot down. It's not even a YouTube thing for us. Like we're ballers, rising ballers. Get it? So here we are, man.
Remember that, yeah? We're not even ballers, we're rising ballers, yeah?
I think I was very excited at that point. Really, I was really. The thing is, man, like I've what I was trying to say, and as I said, I was very, very, very passionate, and I was very energetic and very active. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And I think I'm tired of playing against players that think they can just bully man like that. Like,
Yeah.
because I come up against it on every Saturday, man. Every Saturday, Tuesday evening, you get these players that just think they can elbow man and kick man in the shins, and like I'm used to that, man. Like, you can't do that to me. And I think, I think because of my stature, I've become accustomed to having to do twice as much to equal what if that makes sense. Like, I go the extra effort to show, actually, I'm gonna win this header, or I'm gonna clamp you because you think I'm not going to, but I'm really. And I think it just really pissed me off because there's young players with careers ahead of them. They're trying to break their legs, and that was what the whole game was about. I think I'm speaking about a very specific few moments that didn't go down well with me, because there was definitely intent and malice in what one of their, and I won't name them, but it wasn't nice, and I just felt very very passionate about protecting my brothers on my team, and so that's kind of where that talk came from. It was from the heart. So
I can tell. I mean, I was on the sidelines clearly for that game, and he was very active, man. Going into challenges, not pulling out nothing. The leaving the header, like everything. Like, you was giving everything. And as you said before, you're one of the senior members of the team now. So again, people, I'm sure man's called upon you, called upon Melvin at the time, just to kind of help with the youngers, get through as well. So man, he came out on top.
And I think being part of like non-league since being 17, 18 years old, like, as I said, I've had like 6 years of being like watching and being clamped and it's like the SE Dons game isn't the only game where I'll clamp a man, like, because whereas a 16, 17, 18-year-old jumping into RB, there's a naivety about the way that you play, and these Sunday league man, they're not playing about, right? Like, they think, these kids are coming here to ruin our fun, like, we just want to, so they'll happily go through a man. But there's been other games where I'll let's just put it lightly and say I've kind of stamped my foot down in ways. But I don't like that, because I don't like that. I don't like people like preying on younger, more vulnerable people like that. And I felt passionate about it. But I think in the game overall, and it doesn't need to take someone to do something like that to rile me up. Like, as I said, I'll win my headers, I'll win my challenges, and I think it's funny because when I was on trial at QPR when I was younger, I was speaking to Andy Impey, and he was, and I was saying to him, like, and this was when I was about 19, 20, I think I was at Egham at the time, and I remember opening the conversation with like, but I win my challenges, I win my headers, I win my battles, and he's like, yeah, but you're a 10. Like, why is that the first thing that you're telling me? And I was like, actually, you're right. I should be, boasting about assists and goals and all of that. But I think, all my life, as I said, I've been told, you're too small, you're too weak, you'll never make it that way. And I feel like I kind of had a point to prove, and that's kind of where that stemmed from. So yeah. Obviously there was no malice intended. I feel like I made some very fair challenges, but at the same time, like, what my old coach used to say is take the ball, take the man and his dog with him. So
that's a good saying, to be fair. I mean, staying with Rising Ballers, like, what's the future looking like for you guys? Obviously, we're a week away from getting back onto the green stuff, getting back out there. Like, before lockdown, obviously it didn't end too well for you guys in terms of London Cup and stuff like that. But going forward now, I'm sure Maz has got a plan. I'm sure Jamie's got a plan. Yourself, what's the plan for Rising Ballers going forward, man?
Yeah, I mean, I can only speak on what I know, and like Any and Brendan and Jamie will probably have a whole plan ready to go and for the next 10 years probably. But I think from a personal point of view, what I can speak on is there's some really exciting talent coming through RB. The last training session we did was a mad thing. And, the youngsters showing themselves up, and I think from my point of view, I kind of at 24. I'm no longer a rising baller, and like, let's be honest, like, this is a platform for young players, and so I've kind of taken a slight step back in a way that it's for the youngsters to shine, and it's for them to go and prove themselves and do their thing. I don't want to be filling up a spot that a younger player can go and get a pro off of. So I I'm at a space where if called upon, I'm there. But yeah, I think hopefully you see me, some more in the RB top, definitely.
I keep forgetting you're only 24. I'm speaking like you're my age, but you're 24, bro. That's like nothing. Like you literally, you're still a young person. You are a young person. I speak to you like, I don't know, maybe it's the dreads. It's the dreads of wisdom. Do you know what I'm saying?
Man, yeah, nah. I mean, the way I see it, yeah, like I think I've been through quite a lot in my life, and that's I never say that like trying, as a victim. Like I never like to look at myself as a victim, but there's been a lot of lessons that I've had to learn, and yeah, I try to emulate that in what I'm doing kind of going forwards, and it's all about good vibes, good energy, and that's where we're at, man. That's why I'm on Roots TV, get it?
I suppose the last one I want to speak to you about is family, like Tay, the family man. I mean, got a beautiful family there. Do you know what I mean? Like, talk to me about Tay, the family man. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah. So I think, obviously I've got two beautiful young children, and that's kind of what I'm building legacy for. That's kind of, the same way that I got 23 years of love, from my mum. I always say that my mum gave me 23 years of, a whole lifetime of love in 23 years. And if my children can say that about me, when at whatever age, then I've done, a decent job. And I think, everything that I do is all about educating the youth and empowering the youth and inspiring the youth. And, you've got to look to your own children first. And I'd like to think that they're witnessing something amazing happening, with the Grow to Know project and with RB and with all the other projects. Grow to Know is not the only projects I'm doing. I'm doing about 4 or 5 different.
I know you're busy, boy. I know. I try and call this guy all the time. I'm like, flipping out.
Yeah, man. So I think, yeah, and I think, yeah, sometimes what I need to realize is that I take time. Like I need to take time. Yeah, like my missus would say, like I'm in the office like non-stop, like doing work, just non-stop doing projects and doing write-ups and all of that stuff. And I think, yeah, I'm realizing that actually there's a lot in taking time and spending time with your family, and I think that's what's important to me, and kind of creating that legacy. I think every decision I make from here onwards, it's all about legacy, it's all about community, it's all about kind of core values, and that's where I'm at. I'm at an age where now things are slightly, I'm seeing things through a different kind of hole. And yeah, I think football was my everything, but now it's starting to be, slightly. I'm slightly diversifying my what would you call it? My portfolio.
Yeah. Okay. I suppose like last question is like talk to me about you and your plans. Look at this man, Mr. Model here. Look at him.
As I said to you earlier, it looks like a pick off EastEnders, man. Looks like I'm on like the new one on the block or something, right?
Yeah. Oh, so again, talk to me about your future. EastEnders cameo, maybe.
Yeah. So the future looks positive, man. So I recently signed to a TV agency. So one of my directors at Grow to Know is the Black Gardener, who's a TV presenter as well, and he's one of the black people on TV in the gardening world. I've also got another director called Ali, who's an amazing young woman who's all about kind of sustainability and kitchen gardening. And I think, I think there's potential TV projects that I think Channel 4 and BBC are interested in. So things are moving very quickly and very well. I can't really speak on too many things at the moment, but things are looking up. And yeah, so away from Grow to Know as well, we're launching a big kickoff, which is going to be an event, hopefully next summer. With everything going on, hopefully we'll be allowed to put on this event. But it's all about kind of pushing young people who wouldn't otherwise get the opportunity into career spaces, but also putting on a fun football event. Where a young person might be able to talk to a professional referee or talk to a professional coach and learn a few things and understand how they might be able to get into that career. So yeah, man, those are a few things that that hopefully the future holds, and I'm really optimistic about things and positive about them, as I always will be. So yeah, man, it's looking good. It's looking exciting.
Love that, love that. Listen, keep me in the know, man, especially like with all your 15 million projects and your acting career and all of this stuff like TV as well, man. Just remember little old me, man. I'll still be going around to games as well, my one camera and that, and you'll be like, yeah, you roots it? Oh yeah, cool.
I'm here,
I might have bigger hair by then as well. I might have your hair. This is what I'm trying to get to. This is before and Tay is after. Like, this is what I'm trying to get to. So there's a reason behind the little throw, bro. There's a reason behind it.
Each dread represents a new project, man.
Literally, bro. Literally. Oh my days. But yo, Tay, thank you, bro. Thank you for your time, bro. I really appreciate it, especially on a Saturday night. I mean, it's not like we can do much anyway, but I still appreciate it.
I appreciate it, bro. Lovely speaking to you as always, man.
Nah, love for that, bro. Take care. And again, make sure everyone follows him on Insta, Twitter. Obviously, part of Rise and Baller's journey as well. He's still young. Don't get it twisted, man. He's only 24, man. He talks about knowledge. But yeah. Please. Oh, man. But yo, thank you very much, bro. And take care, yeah?